Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. What'd you think?
9 days notice Usman goes up in weight class.
Savage, another savage.
Another savage, dude. I was pulling from hard on this one, and my bias may come through. My bias, let's be real. You guys might have different opinions on this fight. I don't know, but my bias is definitely going to come through in this one. I think because look, I don't dislike Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's a killer. I think he puts on fun fights. The Gilbert Burns fight was fucking incredible. I think the UFC has mishandled his career so far. They did a great job at the beginning and then just like dropped the ball completely with him, in my opinion. But I don't blame that on Chimaev. But
yeah, he goes so inactive in between fights, that you almost forget about the legend that is the growing legend of Khamzat.
There's people think that he popped, that USADA popped him and didn't announce it, and that's why he was out for a whole year after he took no damage against Kevin Holland.
Dude, just throw him another person like Mearshart again. Just a rematch. Yeah, just anything to keep the guy active in between, man.
Kamaru coming in on 9 days notice. He's back-to-back losses for the first time in his career against Leon Edwards. First one, he was winning by a landslide and then got high kicked at the end of the fight. Second one, Leon really did a great job and beat him and made the adjustments and like beat him. It wasn't just like a Hail Mary head kick, like he beat him.
Yeah.
And then so he's coming in off 2 losses, 9 days notice, going up in weight class against a guy who spent a year knowing that his next fight was going to be at 185. Khamzat was preparing for not a pressure wrestler, but a pressure fighter nonetheless in Paulo Costa. So he's kind of prepared. His grappling is always going to be his edge, so that he's already kind of matched up well for Usman. Usman breaks people with his pressure and his wrestling. It's going to be tough to do that to Khamzat.
Yep.
So
terrible matchup.
It's a bad matchup on 9 days notice across
everything's
the world.
Stacked against him.
He flies from Denver to Abu Dhabi for this fight. Like, that's crazy.
Not a short flight.
That's not a short flight, man. It's not. My boss was in Dubai. He was trying to go to this potentially. That was a long flight for him. So, and he wasn't fighting on 9 days notice. So I can't even imagine if you're Usman. They go out there. They're mixing it up a little bit. He does a good job, defending the initial takedowns. But the problem is with someone like Khamzat, whose chain wrestling is so good. Once you defend that initial takedown, you got to fucking split, dude. You cannot be there. If he has a hand on you, he's going to get the takedown. You
explode
have to
out.
Get out of there.
Explode out.
Go. You got to go. Math Project says, disagree, brother. Yeah. He might be talking to HLV Comer saying Costa would have killed Chimaev. Look, first round, he ends up taking his back. Fantastic back work from Chimaev. I was telling Kevin, I was like, why is it that some guys get the backpack position and do no damage with it, never really threaten the submission, but then there's guys like Khamzat who gets the backpack for the whole round and it's a mauling. You know what I mean? Like, he's finding moments to land these shots while still maintaining position. That is incredible to watch. He's so good.
Close to sinking in the rear naked choke. Also got a neck crank in there.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Usman's discipline, man, to survive that because he's moving just enough. He's defending his neck. The one time he almost gives up the neck is when he stands up, which is insane with his knees. He can't even run. He potentially popped the knee in the open workout before the fight. He stands up with Khamzat on his back. He gets the choke in, and I'm like telling Kevin, I was like, spike him. Now's your chance. Like, you need to spike him, and he just fucking bam spikes him on his head. Breaks Khamzat's wrist when he planted from the spike, then survives the rest of the round. Incredible. And I was like, that's not a great round from Kamaru. Obviously, nobody knew that he broke his wrist at that moment live. But I was like, he survived. And that's pretty big. Now let's see what the gas tanks look like, because 9 days notice, he's the CEO of EPO. This is right before the fight. Going to be interesting to see Kamaru's gas tank. And at this point, like I said, we didn't know that Khamzat's wrist was broken. And I was like, oh, wow. Looks like Khamzat might have gassed and not Kamaru. Could have been gassed. Could have also just been reluctant to throw. That second round, dude, Kamaru just defending takedowns, keeping his distance, landing that jab, that 1-2 cracks.
He was also telegraphing the takedowns a lot more at this point. Khamzat was.
Yeah,
definitely. He wasn't setting him up as well as he was in that first round. I mean, hey, by the way, first round, 10-8 round?
100% 10-8 round.
Right?
You got it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10-8 round, that first round. Second round, I thought Kamaru did such a good job keeping his distance. His fighting behind the jab was really good. He would fake like he's going to go for a takedown and then pop right back up just to keep him thinking, that's the elite, right? Throwing feints out there and getting reactions. He was getting Khamzat to react to pretty much everything he was doing. And he was tagging him. And I was like, look, this is pretty good. The round ends. And I was like, I thought that was a pretty clear round for Usman just because Khamzat really didn't do much at all, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Usman did a ton.
Probably dealing with that broken wrist that you're talking about right now, trying to figure out life. Like, how am I going to get through this, right?
Yeah. Am I going to lose to this man on 9 days' notice? I can't have this. Second round, I thought was a clear round for Kamaru. And I was like, all right, round apiece going into the third, but probably a 10-8 round in the first round. So if Usman just gets a 10-9 in this third round, it's probably just a draw. He might need a finish regardless, Second round or third round starts. And again, I feel like from what I remember, this was the one where Khamzat got a takedown, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Khamzat got a takedown. 2 minutes of control. This was it, right?
Yeah.
You got to get out of here. This ended up being a takedown. How insane is that?
And the way that he did it was so beautiful. Like, you talked about the fact that Kamaru should have just like booked it as much as he could. Not to say that he wasn't trying, right? But
yeah, right.
It just didn't seem like the explosion was there out of this. Like, usually you'll see somebody like pull back, turn, and then pull again.
Yeah.
And like just try to run in the opposite direction. In this case, held onto the ankle and then slowly climbed his way up to a single leg, which turned into a takedown.
And I think he knew, right? Like, because like you said, the explosion wasn't there in this moment, but later on, there was a moment where Kamaru kind of slipped, maybe threw a kick and he slipped, and he immediately was like, "I'm getting the fuck up." Like, I'm not taking my time. Khamzat's someone who will take that opportunity. I'm pulling it up right now just so I can see it. Fuck, it was good. But for the first 3 minutes of the round, again, Usman's landing, right? He's throwing leg kicks. He's throwing that 1-2, cracking 1-2.
Finally letting his hands go a lot more in this round too.
Yeah, and and landing.
He seemed really hesitant in the second fight against Leon. And probably because he had gone knocked out for the first time in his career. He didn't want that to happen again. But he seemed gun shy, right? Going into this fight a little bit too in that first round and the second round. And part of it was probably knowing that Khamzat was going to try to take him down. So he didn't want to leave himself too open. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it could have been a combination of things. But when you see him start pressuring him more, and he's the one that's stepping forward in that third round, and he starts throwing combinations, you started seeing him starting to crack Khamzat Chimaev. And I was like, here's a perfect timing, Rich. He's so good. I know, dude. Like, but just at that point, I was like, look, if he continues landing these shots and he continues putting his pressure on, like we could possibly see a finish here.
Yeah, and then Khamzat gets him down, but again, he gets him down. He has 2 minutes of control time in that fifth round, but he doesn't land any big shot. It wasn't like the first round where he took his back and was battering him, setting up submissions. Like, there really wasn't much going on the ground. And then Usman gets up, and they go toe-to-toe to end the fight. 10 seconds left, and they go full-on Max Holloway, Ricardo Lamas, just swinging and banging, dude. Like, that was so fucking cool. And then you find out after the fact that Hamzat's wrist was broken, and he still went down like that. God, dude.
Who was it recently that pointed down at the ground and then did a double leg takedown? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
who was it?
Recent, though.
Yeah, it was recent where it pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, dude, if you're going to point down the ground saying, hey, let's swing and bang to finish up, you don't start swinging and then take it down. Was,
he pointed to the ground like, I'm about to put you on the mat. And then
that was my mistake. My mix-up. Yeah. But
yeah, they finished going toe-to-toe like this, and they finished the fight. I thought this was a pretty clear draw, in my opinion. I had Usman winning the second and third round. I thought the second was the clearest round for Usman. Third round was pretty close just because the takedown and do 2 minutes of control, whereas my opinion, 3 minutes of Kamaru landing the better shots on the feet. I think that outweighs 2 minutes of control. But I know that's might be my bias. Some people might disagree. I thought the second round was a clear Usman. First round was clear Khamzat, a 10-8 round. So I had 28-28 draw.
Yeah, ultimately, I'm fine with the decision too.
It
wasn't anything crazy. Like, I would have loved to see the draw. I would have loved to see the draw because it would have meant a rematch for us with a full camp for Usman.
And 5 rounds probably. There's no way this wouldn't be a main event.
You know what I mean?
And it would mean that Dricus du Plessis gets a title shot, which he deserves. So everybody wins. But look, this should have been a majority
stays
draw.
In shape, huh?
I know, dude. The CEO of EPO. The one judge did fuck this up. It wasn't a robbery, in my opinion. The outcome itself is okay. I understand it. If you give rounds 1 and 3 to Khamzat, especially with the 10-8 round in the first round, but one judge gave Khamzat the second round and Usman the third, and that is a terrible scorecard. I don't know how you could argue that Khamzat won that second round where he literally didn't do anything the whole round. Granted, I'm not shitting on him because his wrist was broken and he was, like you said, trying to figure out life. But yeah, one judge gave Khamzat the second round and Usman the third. If he gave Usman the second round, that would have been 2 judges that given it a draw, and it would have been a majority draw. So that's kind of fucked. That leaves a sour taste in my mouth. And then Usman, pretty depressed there in the post-fight interviews. I don't know if you saw that with Megan Levy. He's like on the verge of crying, had to keep looking away. He's like, man, I don't know. I've never been here before. 3 losses in a row. I just don't understand what's happening. Fuck.
The deeper he got into his career, the more he grew on me, man. And he really ended up being a great champion, an active champion, dude. A classy champion. You know, even during his losses.
Bangers, dude.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Knocking out Masvidal.
Remember, as he was coming up,
Covington.
As he was coming up, it was all like, well, this guy's just a grappler.
Yeah.
And once he became a champion, he's like, let me throw these hands.
Yeah,
and show these guys that like absolute savages.
Breaking Colby's jaw, finishing Gilbert Burns, like just wars.
His ghost stories, man. You know, like as he's going through
in there.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. Like, so this is tough seeing him at this part of his career because
he's a great.
He's a great for sure. So it's tough. It's tough.
It's hard to watch, dude. And look, I don't think he should hang his head in this one. And I think going back, I think he'll be a little bit more confident in this fight than he was like right after the fight, right?
UFC, give him a post-fight interview. He waited in the octagon.
That was bullshit,
he thought that he was going to talk to you guys. Pissed. And then DC just look. I hate doing this, and I hate shitting on commentators because Will does that for me, and I don't want to double up. But I cannot stand DC's post-fight interviews. Give me Bisping all day. Give me Felder all day. You know, because I think that they haven't forgotten what it's like to be that fighter and to get those 2 minutes of limelight where you get to just speak your mind, whatever you want to do. Like, you've earned that right. You've earned that mic right. I don't care who the hell's tripping in your ear saying, hey, we got to end this interview. We got to end this.
Like,
Joe Rogan will give them all the time too, right? We know what these fighters mean to the sport. We know what these fighters mean to the fans. Fans appreciate Usman stepping in 9 days notice and going through this. Give the guy a minute or 2 minutes of my time.
I know, dude. Seriously.
It was so frustrating. And you see him like standing there looking at DC, waiting. And then so Khamzat goes over and is like, hey, brother, you know, like, I'm sorry I smashed. You know? yeah. But that was rough, man.
It was tough. Yeah, I hated that. Especially because, like, dude, it's the pay-per-view at this point. We're not worried about starting the next card on time. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, give him his
time. We had a weirdness. We can use this as a segue. We had a fight end real early right before this. So, you know, we had some time.
Yeah. Matt Prodigy says, I agree. Give them 2 minutes. Yeah, dude, come on. Take one stupid slap ad away, you know, and give it to the fighters.
Yeah. All 4 title fights. Like, it means anything.
Oh, you put the scorecards up.
Shout out Vito for fucking this one up pretty bad. I don't see how you could give Usman or Khamzat the second round. The third round, arguable, right? Derek clearly gave Khamzat the third round. I'm not mad at that. It was a close round. 2 minutes of control is a big deal. So I understand why you could give him that. But man, second round for Usman is fucking dog shit.
Wow.
Or for Khamzat, I should say.
Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.